Yo, what's up people, my name's Alid, this channel is White Almonds, and this is a Darksiders 2 review, so let's get right into it. Darksiders 2 introduces us to a new character named Death, another member of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, and a brother of war from the prequel, Darksiders 1. In Darksiders 2, Death tries to prove his brother's innocence from the war between heaven and hell, which everyone thinks Death's brother had started. The concept of what Death is trying to do is told well in the story, and you don't really need to play the prequel to know what's going on. The voice acting of Death is perfect and suits his cool attitude and mean appearance.
Open the portal. You will not pass while I live. So be it.
The combat in Darksiders 2 is awesome and probably the highlight of the game. The animation is smooth and each blow Death pulls seems deadly. The game is a typical slasher, relating it to Devil May Cry and God of War, but I wouldn't say it takes from those games. This game has its own originality, and depending on what weapon you use, it requires different amounts of skills and techniques. Just like a typical character named Death, the primary weapon is always a Sith blade, but for your secondaries you have 2 different types. A heavy weapon like an axe or a mace is held with 2 hands and takes some time to swing. This means you'll get hit more often, but it also means you can stun and deal critical hits onto enemies easier. And then there are melee weapons, which are light weapons like claws and gauntlets, which are known for their combos, which helps build a good streak. There's also the gun, which is a great addition for long ranged attacks. Darksiders 2 is a beautiful game and has what many games lack, which is a choice, the way you want your character to develop, the way you want him to play as, the skills and techniques you want to use. Darksiders 2 is not a limited game, meaning you have a lot of things to pick from. When you level up, you earn skill points, and with these you can buy new abilities and also develop them. Abilities can level up 3 times. You can upgrade your weapon and armor, changing the way the game's going to play out for you, increasing the strength of your weapon, and having a choice if you want to have a fire elemental or just have a defense increase. The bosses in Darksiders 2 is like a typical RPG game, 50 times the size of the main protagonist and seem almost impossible to kill. The boss battles are epic, but unfortunately they're too easy. Unless you're playing on the hardest difficulty, you're not going to get an exciting battle out of it. Don't get me wrong, the boss battles are still fun and the damages they can do are lethal, but most of them are big, fragile and slow, making them easy to dodge and slightly ruining the experience of the battle. The battles are fun, but you don't get the sense of achievement when beating a boss. The dungeons consist of puzzles which never get tedious. They are creative, smart and really fun to figure out. Later on they become really difficult and I even found myself stuck a few times on some of them. The dungeons are filled with plenty of monsters and plenty of treasure chests with pretty good loot. An amazing fact about this game is when you kill an enemy it drops loot. If it drops a weapon or an armor, you can automatically equip this without going into the menu, making customizing more efficient. The only downfall in this game is the random loadings, which barely happen, and when they do they're too short to notice. And also the camera angle. Generally when you're fighting a boss you have to move it around manually and it gets a little awkward and a little hard and it's pretty frustrating. And also the graphics, which I might say aren't at PS3 standards. I mean, sometimes they look beautiful, but at dark areas the textures can look a little off. But let's be honest, graphics doesn't make a game. The environments are huge and you can enjoy them with Death's horse, Despair. The makers of Darksiders made it worth exploring these large environments, as you can find loot and treasure chests that are quite unique to what you usually find. Moral of the story is, if you want a good around 30-hour RPG game, then don't be afraid to get Darksiders 2. I haven't seen a game like this for a while. Thank you all for watching. It's been Walid from the White Almonds and I give this game an 8.8. Enjoy the almond fact. Don't forget to check out our Black Ops free-for-all gameplay if you haven't already, and if you want, subscribe so you don't miss out on our first multiplayer session of Battlefield 3. Thank you guys, and I'll see you next week.